Hey Kentucky, this is Mary Jo Perino. Tonight, high school coaches and players campaign to keep the fall season. Mark Stoops talks about UK football's first week of practice, and I'll talk to Kyle Tucker of The Athletic about our first 2021 basketball commit. All that and more is next on Hey Kentucky. Welcome to Hey Kentucky with LEX 18 Sports Director Keith Farmer, who celebrated the Big 5-0 over the weekend, and I feel like you probably just recovered.
I'm fully like 53 now, so I'm ready to move on to the next year.
Let's do it. All right, tough weekend for coronavirus numbers here in Kentucky. Yesterday, Governor Beshear reported 467 new cases and 9 new coronavirus-related deaths in the state. 79 of the newly reported cases were from children ages 18 and younger, of which 15 were children ages 5 and under. The youngest was just 3 days old. The day before, it was 814 new cases and 8 deaths were reported. It turns out we had more deaths announced last week than in any week since the pandemic started. Meanwhile, leaders at UK have apologized for a small data breach involving the school's contact tracing team, resulting in leaked personal information of some students and staff members. Keith, not a great look, but I feel like we're plateauing case number-wise. Hopefully that's true.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to feel like we are, but we also know what's coming in the fall and in the winter with normal pneumonia kind of cases and everything that could put a scare into us and make us wonder if it's COVID or not. So it's good to kind of keep reminding ourselves, keep doing what's right so that we can make sure and get past this sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. Some Kentucky school districts that chose to ignore the governor's recommendation about waiting until next month to start in-person classes have had to switch back to online learning. Lexington Catholic went virtual today after half a dozen confirmed cases of COVID-19 were reported in the school. They plan to have kids back in the classroom on September 8th. And Greene County, which was one of Kentucky's first public school districts to welcome students back inside, is also transitioning to remote learning for at least 2 weeks, based on a jump in local cases and a high school employee unofficially testing positive. And on the college level, the University of Louisville has announced that all in-person students, faculty, and staff will be required to be tested for COVID-19 starting today. That is quite an undertaking at a university level, I would imagine. But yeah, some of these schools didn't take long for them to have to roll back into online learning.
Yeah, I think it was disappointing to see some of these colleges, as we've mentioned before, the Notre Dames and North Carolinas that we've seen had to, start and we're going to do classes, and then all of a sudden they come back and they go to the online, and I know that's disappointing, at the high school level for many reasons, but at the college level, I think it's just a whole other animal, because that's just, when you're going off to school and you're learning things about life and doing your job on your own without being pushed by your parents. And so now you're doing this all online. I just hope that they're able to take care of business that way. I know it's got to be difficult.
And you're physically moving out. You're not doing that in high school and middle school and elementary school, so different. Okay, let's turn to the discussion of fall sports now on that high school level in Kentucky. Athletes and coaches worried about the season being canceled have organized the Let Them Play movement. Many folks turned out this morning to a rally in Frankfort. They're hoping that Governor Beshear will review the KHSAA's plan and approve the measures to begin the fall season on September 7th. Last week, a board voted overwhelmingly in favor of their Option 1 plan, but many districts across the state aren't yet hopping on board, and some could ignore the proposal altogether. A move like that, some feel, would actually be counterproductive to the well-being and safety of the kids.
I definitely think COVID is definitely real. It's take a toll on a lot of people, and I completely understand, but I feel like me and the girls and our coaches have been very prominent on keeping us distance and listening to the rules that have been put in play.
We know where the kids are. We're able to talk to them on a daily basis. We're able to screen them on a daily basis. And so it's a much more controlled atmosphere. So whatever risks are out there, we're able to at least mitigate them.
School leaders in Louisville and Lexington were due to meet this evening to discuss their fall sports plans. There has been talk of a phased-in approach by JCPS, and Keith, on Facebook, this has become a huge trending topic in Kentucky, at least the people that I know. And it's hard to tell kids who have followed all the rules they feel like they were supposed to follow if they don't get to do it.
Yeah, I mean, especially it feels like the end. Oh, we're going to play. We may not play. We are going to do it. We've cleared it. And now all of a sudden the governor says, I'm surprised by what the KHSAA approved. And so he said he was going to have to think long and hard about it. And that's what really got this movement started on Facebook. When you hear the governor talking like that, and, you know, obviously his kids are going out and playing baseball right now. These kids just want the chance to play their sport as well. And that's what's rallied them in Frankfort.
Especially the seniors. Just can't imagine. While we wait to see what Kentucky decides, the University of Louisville has announced plans to allow 18,000 fans to be in the stands at home football games. U of L says it's working with Governor Beshear's office on a plan for 30% capacity at Cardinal Stadium this fall. Fans will be required to wear masks, and tailgating will be allowed in parking lots, albeit with physical distancing measures in place. Of course, this is all subject to change, Keith, and wouldn't surprise either one of us if it does change and there's 0 fans, but for the time being, 30%.
I mean, given the okay by the governor so far, but you're right. I guess if things were to go away from that plateau and started rising again, then we may see them take some of that away, or like you said, totally away. I know that the University of Kentucky is putting its plan together. It's getting ready to submit that. So I would like to believe that as long as it's approved, which the SEC said, it goes by local government. And so if the governor approves that, they've got to at least have 30% in Commonwealth Stadium.
True. All right.
Kroger Field.
Kroger, the Krog. All right, let's turn to
Yes.
UK football
Yes.
now, where they play. Coach Mark Stoops did address the media over the weekend following the team's first week of practice for 2020. The week of workouts ended with players strapping on the pads for the first time Saturday. Amid all the COVID-19 precautions, Stoops still didn't see any apprehension once the team took the field.
No, I didn't, because the first play of team run, I wasn't too pleased because they ran the ball right down our throat for about 20 yards. And, we have quite a few returning players that are, pretty good players. And in our offense, the first play of team run, first play with the pads on, and man, they hit it right downhill on us. So I like to see that from an offensive standpoint. I did not like to see it from a defensive standpoint. But no, I don't see any difference in our players at all.
Meanwhile, Kentucky's offensive line has spent the quarantine era slimming down. Drake Jackson lost 30 pounds over 5 months. Keith, why can't this happen for me? But we both know that football is a game where you can't be apprehensive. I wouldn't expect that the guys would change the way they play.
Not only that, they're younger than us. They think they're invincible, so they're going to go out in there and give it their all. And I know they're doing the right things. They're wearing the masks and the protection and everything, but it's the game they've been playing since they were little, and they're going to go out there and give it their all no matter who's in front of them. Right now, it's the same team, and the offense is going to try and dominate the defense and vice versa. And so, yeah, I think they're going to give it their all because they're getting ready for a season.
Yes, in the SEC. You can't be apprehensive in the SEC.
Yeah.
Kentucky basketball picked up its first commitment for the class of 2021. Nolan Hickman, a 4-star guard in the rising senior class, announced his commitment Saturday, choosing the Cats over offers from Kansas, Oklahoma, Arizona, UCLA, and Washington. Hickman also says he wants to urge Paolo Banchero to flip his commitment from Duke to UK. In other news from the hardwood, a positive update on freshman BJ Boston. Last week we talked about the cast on his left hand, but it looks like that has already come off. Keith, kind of like we talked about, probably just, an abundance of caution for BJ's wrist.
Yeah, just like putting a boot on the foot when you got a sprained ankle, just making sure you're taking care of it as it's trying to heal. And as far as Hickman goes, if this guy can get a Duke commit to flip his commitment, then he's going to be on the ticket to run alongside Benny Snell for governor and lieutenant governor or whatever else they want to run for in this state.
Oh my gosh, 100%. And we are going to talk more about Paolo and Nolan's relationship coming up in our next segment. It's a good story. Now in Hey Kentucky, in case you missed it, a review of recent headlines. You can go online to request an absentee ballot for the November election now. The portal allows Kentuckians to choose from 4 methods of casting a ballot: absentee voting by mail, early voting, election day voting, and voter identification. Find the portal link at lex18.com. There will be a heavy Kentucky presence on the panel of speakers at this week's Republican National Convention. Attorney General Daniel Cameron and Senator Rand Paul will be speaking tomorrow night, and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is listed as a speaker for Thursday. And state GOP leaders are criticizing Governor Beshear's decision to fire the executive director in the Office of Agricultural Policy. Warren Beeler was appointed to that role in 2013. Up next on Hey Kentucky, I'll talk with Kyle Tucker of The Athletic. He's going to weigh in on UK basketball landing that first 2021 commitment, among other things. Stay with us.